From my perspective as a psychoanalyst, anxiety is not a primary emotion. It's a reaction to something that's unconscious. So we have anxiety basically because we are not comfortable with ourselves. You're not in a good, stable relationship with yourself, and you're kind of at war with yourself. Now, anytime your body betrays you, naturally, you're going to be in a struggle with yourself. Why? Because you don't want to have this happening, and yet it's outside your control. So it's really easy when you're dealing with an evil force outside yourself, but when that evil force is inside yourself, it's very, very agonizingly disturbing. There are times when you can surrender to whatever's happening inside your bodies, and other times when you really can't and you don't want to and you're just mad. And when you have anxiety, what it means is that you're having something which is clinically known in my circles as intrapsychic conflict. You're at war with yourself. Now, why would you be at war with yourself? Well, the answer to that is because you are brave and because you are good. And let me explain what happens to you when you're brave and good. When you're brave and good, you really want to put your best foot forward in a kind way. So you do that with your conscious mind. For example, you will feel ashamed of yourself. Believe it or not, being ashamed of yourself is a way of being brave and good, because it means you don't want to put forward the foot of yourself that is vulnerable and hurting and that you don't want and that disturbs you. So believe it or not, shame is actually an offshoot of wanting to put your best foot forward, because with shame, you always have in your mind the hope of being better. So shame is actually a function of being brave and good, which is strange, right? Because you shouldn't feel ashamed of yourself. But if you surrender to something that's vulnerable inside of yourself, then you have grief. So the opposite of shame, which is the courage, the braveness, is grief, which is why I love my life as a puddle, because it says that in some way you are okay with crying. Mm-hmm. So already, and it's cute, so already you know you're going to have a good experience with this advocate, with this person who is going to be talking about it. And the intrapsychic conflict is that if you surrender to this body betrayal, to what your body is doing, which is what you need to do not to have anxiety, you could get really depressed. Where's the hope going to come from? That you can hide it, that you can be better, right, that you are not this person. So there you have intrapsychic conflict, and it's very difficult when you're in the world being brave and good to know how disappointed you are, how mad you are, and what is worse than being mad at your own body, at your own self,
right,
or your genetic disposition. That's really hard. So we push away grief, we push away rage as we are good and brave, because who wants to be angry? That's not a way to be good. And who wants to be depressed? That's not a way to be brave and courageous. So then we have anxiety.